Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your co-host, Puma El Gato, the cat that gives you your precautionary measures back. And to my right over here is the main man, Jesus De Niro, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die, deadly the Diaz Bros, and spicier content than your girls' only fans. Brother, what are we talking about this week?
You know, we're actually going to talk about something that's mostly for the men, and to give a little bit of light on women as well, that we can understand where this particular topic is coming from. Men, in these particular times, especially now with a lot of what's going on in popular culture, it is imperative that you take care of yourself, that you take the precautionary measures that you need to take in order to make sure that you don't get caught in a situation where you're being put in a situation that would be not advantageous for you. Now, disclaimer right from the beginning, I do want to say yes, I understand, because I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate from the more than likely from the feminists out there. I'm going to get a lot of hate from individuals that say, oh, that's just a small percentage. It doesn't matter, even if it's 1%, even if it's 0.00001%. This is an important topic, and I'm going to discuss a couple of reasons why, and give you guys a case that actually me and a buddy of mine were talking about the other day, which is what really made me and my co-host here think about this particular topic. But we'll get into that a little bit. So tonight's topic is really about how men, especially in today's day and age, especially in today's social climate, need to fucking take care of themselves and take a lot of precautionary measures to make sure that we don't get caught in a situation that we shouldn't be, whether people believe it's a big and important topic or not. Again, for a lot of men, especially the men that truly are, because there's a lot of them that have been accused and have been proven to not have done anything, precautionary measures to make sure that you're protected. What we're talking about here is like, look, there's a lot of people out here that are fucked up individuals that are predators, both to children, to women, to other men, so on and so forth. Those motherfuckers deserve to go to jail. Those motherfuckers are pieces of shit, so on and so forth. I don't need to tell you guys this. You guys already know. Here's the problem, though. There's a lot of men out here that do get accused of things, and then come to find out they didn't do anything. I'll use the most recent and most famous example, Mr. Johnny Depp. The good thing for him is that he is famous. He has done a lot of popular movies. He is an attractive man that women generally fawn over for. So he already had one thing for him. Again, the fact that he is a well-known individual. With that being said, even after the recordings came out of Amber Heard saying that oh, no one's gonna believe you, blah blah blah. Even after all the shit came out, some people still, to this very motherfucking day, believe that Johnny Depp did those things, despite the fact that, again, it's heard on recordings that Amber Heard was basically saying no one's gonna believe him, blah blah blah. So with that being said, we're gonna talk about a couple incidents where we were kind of in a situation that made us feel uncomfortable because, again, of the optics of the situation. Not because we did anything, but because of the way, if someone were to walk into the room and see the situation, it would not look great. So that's what we want to avoid for you men out there, and make sure that you guys take the important steps to protect yourselves. I'm going to give you one incident of mine. Look, I've not had too many individuals that I haven't had a good relationship with as far as women. In fact, I'm friends with damn near all my exes, with really the exception of two. We really want to be honest, maybe really one. With that being said, I have had a lot of friends of mine, and I've unfortunately been involved in a few situations where the women that they were dating, or the woman that I was dating, were in the situation where they were aggressive, because they knew that they were the women in the relationship, that the man would not raise a hand to them, because, again, if the cops get called out to a situation, out to a call, and they say, hey, there's domestic violence, there's this and that, and they look at the man and the woman, they're more than likely going to assume it's the man. Now, for a lot of my buddies, and I'm not going to use names, but I'm definitely going to use specific incidents where it happened, and I'm also going to delve a little bit into my personal experience with my professional lifestyle and the things that I see women do all the time. Look, it's not a good look. Just the accusation, just if you get accused of being a domestic abuser, just if you get accused of being sexually abusive towards a woman, or mentally abusive, or any of these things, even if it's not true, as it was in the case with Johnny Depp, it was not true, you're still looked upon in a bad light, really, for the rest of your life. For a lot of people, unfortunately, you can never get past that stigma. Some people always say, well, it looks like, all the evidence points to him not doing it, but you know what? I don't know, man. There's just still a chance he could do it. And as men, that's one of the stigmas that we face because we are technically the stronger of the of the species between us and females. We're looked upon like, yeah, maybe he didn't do it, but he's still possible. And even though the evidence doesn't say he did it, it looks like he did it. With that being said, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my experiences per what I've seen. Again, per myself and my friends. I've had a couple friends where they were dating women, generally speaking, much shorter than them, and the women, smacks, hits, punches, whatever it may be. And my dude friends, generally speaking, they don't really get phased by it because again, they're bigger than them, so on and so forth, and they generally don't get hurt by that type of stuff. With that being said, that doesn't matter because again, look at it this way. Let's say a woman is punching you, hitting you, slapping you, whatever it may be, and let's say you just grab her hands, just grab her hands to restrain her from stopping you from hitting her. That right there, you've already gotten physical, already a bad thing. If the cops come and she says, hey, he grabbed my arms, even if you say, well, she hit me first and I was just grabbing her arms to restrain her, already not a good look for you as a man. So here's the thing, one of my precautionary measures from the get-go is record. Even if it's just a voice recording, record. Here's the thing. Again, at the end of the day, most of the scenarios that the cops have to deal with is word versus word. But again, coming into it, the officers already have a negative outlook towards the male in the situation. Now again, listen, in no way, shape, or form should a man, and I stand by this, should a man hit a woman, strike a woman, any of that nature. But with that being said, if a woman is coming at you with anything but her fist, if she's coming at you with the knife, with the gun, so on and so forth, which a lot of women on Facebook seem to need, it's fucking hilarious because you guys post memes about it all the goddamn time. Again, switch to the sexist for 1 second and see if it's still funny. I would say that you record, again, even if it's just a voice recording, something. With your phone, luckily you can do that real easy. So that's one of the precautionary measures that I would say. As fucked up as it is, I work in a field where I see a lot of this where this is prevalent. And this is really fucked up because I'll be honest with you, I've yet to see a case, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've yet to see a case where it's been proven. So I deal with divorces, as a lot of you guys know, and in these divorces, mom and dad generally are both fighting for who gets to keep the kids, who they're going to be living with, so on and so forth. And here's the thing. I've represented both men and women, so I don't want anyone to think I'm taking a side, but the prevalent excuse, the prevalent reasoning, the prevalent thing that comes up with a lot of these cases is, I don't know if it's true, but I believe he sexually molested the children, meaning the husband, the father, or whatever, molested the children. Now, a lot of times when these accusations get made, CPS will get involved, the police will obviously get involved. Sometimes the judge will sign what's called the best interest attorney to interview the child, so on and so forth. And when that does happen, I'll be honest with you, I haven't had one case where it's been proven that the father was in fact doing this to his children. In fact, when they interview the children, the children say that they love their father, that they've never felt in an uncomfortable situation with their father. But again, nonetheless, the accusation was made. And again, fellas, this is another reason why I say, and I know this is hard because in this particular situation it's difficult. How do you record? God knows how many years of you being in your child's life. How do you record that? Obviously you can't. But do as much as you possibly can so that when you are with your children, you're protected should those accusations come. Because again, as fucked up as it is, and I know a lot of you ladies may think, well, I would never do that. That's fine. I'm glad you would never do that. But that doesn't dismiss the fact that a lot of women do. Imagine you ladies think that you're going to lose your child and you're not going to see them for at least half of the time of their life, right? Until they're 18. A lot of women would be driven to do a lot of shit that they wouldn't normally do. So again, fellas, I'm not saying you guys did anything. I'm not saying you should, but again, you need to protect yourselves. This is a day and age where as a man, if you are even perceived as the type of individual that can do that, you're going to be sold down a motherfucking hill. With that being said, do you want to give an example of something you've experienced, my man?
Yes, and it was actually two things that actually happened, especially in a social climate for women. And I understand why emotionally they would be kind of hurt by this, but they tend to view cheating or infidelity a worse crime than murder.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was something I misremember, but I remember there was a survey that I think it was some dude that was on the street, and they asked women. I was like, ladies, would you rather catch your boyfriend in the act of cheating, or would you rather have them murder you? And most of them said murder.
Yeah, interesting.
Which it's a bit exaggerated, but like, look, I understand where the hurt comes from. That being said, I've actually had two cases happen to me in which two female coworkers got really close to me, made me kind of uncomfortable, and I had to tell my girl immediately because I knew if it somehow came out on a third party and it was taken out of context, it would make me look bad. It would make me look like I was trying to go after some shit.
Tell them the situation, my man. That way they know.
I was gonna go. I was on my lunch break. I was in the public area, the public break room where my work at. The area itself has like a bunch of lockers or whatever, so you can put your stuff in or whatever. Across from the door from where the public break room is the women's restroom and the men's restroom. It's legit feet away from the door. One of my female coworkers, for whatever reason, decided not to step into the women's bathroom for whatever reason. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it was full. I don't know. But she was in her regular civilian clothes, and she decided that she needed to get into work clothes real quick. She said, "Fuck it. I don't want to go into the women's restroom. I'm too lazy for that. Puma, you're gonna have to close your eyes." Immediately, red fucking flag. I legit had to bolt out of the fucking door because I knew, look, there's no cameras in the break room. There's nothing. If somehow it came out, I stayed in the room and she was taking her clothes off, it would look bad on me.
Yeah, I mean, even though take that into consideration. He was in a public area, right? And because this woman chose to go into that public area and change for whatever reason, it's not like she couldn't wait if the bathroom was closed. Not like she couldn't wait, so on and so forth. She chose to wait in a public area and say, "Hey, you in this public area, you gotta adjust to my needs so that I can change here." So instead of again being in a situation where he didn't do anything wrong, he was just eating his lunch. He was just there again in a public area chilling, and this individual came in and forced him to be in an uncomfortable situation. Now again, his options are to leave. That's really about it. Because again, if he stays, his girl might look at him like, "Well, why did you stay when a chick was changing in front of you?" Already bad, right? Or if somebody walks in, they're like, "Okay, this is weird. Why are you staying here when this girl's clearly changing?"
Again, through no fault of my fucking own. I was legit on my lunch break. It was legit. The area was public. Like that shouldn't have happened. I even notified a female supervisor, and she was like, "Well, nothing was gonna happen. We know your character." I was like, "It has nothing to do with knowing about my character."
See, that's the problem.
Out of context. If somebody outside of the company were to hear something about like that, they would look at me like, "All right, why didn't you do anything?"
See, and that's the problem. Is that's a perfect example of we as men get put out because we have to take precautionary measures to protect ourselves. Because again, whether it was somebody outside the company, whether it was somebody in the company, or somebody that worked with them, it doesn't look good. And again, it's not like he said, "Hey, please change in a public area." No, he was pushed out by the particular situation. I'll give you guys another example. One of the female clients that we represented, I'll be honest with you, she was not the greatest mother. She is the type of mother that she lives off the government. She has, and I shit you not, 9 kids, getting assistance for all of them, obviously. She had lied to the court. The court had caught her in a couple different lies. After all that, she had come to us and said, "Hey, I need legal representation." We took her case. We tried to wrangle in all the BS that she was doing. She never listened to us. She kept on doing it. We told her, "Look, you're gonna potentially lose your kids if you don't calm all this stuff down." It was really only 3 of the kids. She had multiple baby fathers, besides the point. She didn't listen. And at one point, when all the regular BS that she was doing wasn't working, she said, "Well, you know what? I think father has sexually abused the kids." Mind you, there's never been anything in the past, however many years that they've had the kids, to show that he was sexually abusing the kids. There was never any sort of inclination by the kids. There was nothing. But she made the accusation. So of course, everybody takes that seriously, us included. So they're like, "Okay, if you really believe that," we told her, "you have to call Child Protective Services." She did. They started up an investigation, so on and so forth. They interviewed the kids, interviewed the father, blah, blah. Come to find out, they believed nothing happened. There was no evidence of anything funny going on, so on and so forth. But again, think about what this man was put through, because it was not only the CPS that had gotten involved. Obviously, it was Mesa PD in this particular situation that had gotten involved, and they went out with them to speak with them. But think about the concept of you as an individual, right? You're going about your day, thinking you're doing what's right for your kids, so on and so forth, and then someone abuses you of something you didn't do. And again, that's according to CPS, that's according to Mesa PD, so on and so forth. But you're put in a situation where it's a scary thing to be accused of something that fucking heinous. It's a scary fucking thing to be put in a situation where someone's saying you did this fucking thing, and the only thing that you can show proof, because how do you show proof of something that doesn't happen? You see what I'm saying? Like how do I show proof of an incident that didn't occur? Like how do I prove that I didn't do this thing? So of course it's just really on the police to do their investigation. Luckily for him, his kids said no, this has never happened. They obviously knew about the contentious family law matter, and eventually the case was dropped. But again, just being put in that situation is uncomfortable. You lose time, you lose money, you lose, again, he could have potentially lost his kids. There's a number of situations where it just could have turned out really bad. And if you guys speak to any criminal attorney, I used to do criminal law myself, it's not a great thing to have officers come to you because they're looking for something. It's like if you go on and you try to find, you say to yourself, I'm going to try and find a penny on the ground. Eventually you're going to find one. So if you go as a police officer with the intent of finding something, which is a lot of officers do, and they've admitted to it, it's just not a good look for you. It's not a good feeling to feel like this guy that's supposed to be unbiased and investigative is accusing you of the thing. So, again, as much as you possibly can, again, when it came to these two, they ended up having, obviously, 50-50 joint custody. With eventually, after we got off the case, mother actually started losing time with her kids, and it went down to her having visitation because it was found out that she was lying about all these things. Regardless, the other individual ended up putting cameras in his truck. He ended up making sure that whenever he did have his kids, his mother or a family member was around, that way, nothing funny could be said about what he was doing with his kids. So again, if you can, that's another good precaution. Have witnesses, man. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you can't prove your character. Listen, if you're a fucking piece of shit, you deserve to go to fucking jail. But a lot of these things are when I'm just gonna put it out there, when women get put in an uncomfortable situation that they don't like, they make these accusations. Again, I saw a news story the other day about an individual, I believe it was in Indiana, went to a party, had sex with a dude. I guess she regretted it the next day. She said, hey, this guy sexually assaulted me. The cops asked her, did you say no during the act? She said no. They went over to speak with him anyway. I guess he had texts of her flirting with him weeks before the party or something like that, basically showing that she had intent to have sex with this guy. And eventually the charges were dropped. But again, man, it's just the fact that we're put in these situations where we're uncomfortable. Would he have not had the text? Again, that's another good example. Have documented proof of the things. I understand that sometimes the next day women will regret having sex with the guy. I respect that, I understand that, but that doesn't mean you were raped. I've regretted sleeping with certain women in my life. That doesn't mean they raped me.
That just taking an L.
Yeah, I just took an L. It's not that big a deal, but again, it's not rape. You can't make these accusations. Is there another story you want to tell me, man?
Yeah, there was actually a big one that happened in the YouTube scene, I think 4 or 5 years ago. It was actually a pretty huge deal. There was a gaming YouTuber. His name is Pro Jared. This is a really big story that happened because.
I'm gonna bring up another one. I'm gonna bring up the Mewtwo.
The Mewtwo King. Yeah.
But go on.
So, and this goes on to my thing of public perception of infidelity, whatever. We'll kill you. This guy, Pro Jared, he had he was I think it was a wife, I believe, a wife that was a cosplayer, and she came out with accusations that she was cheating on, or that Pro Jared was cheating on her with this other chick that was doing D&D streaming with her. And legit, moment that she made those accusations, people were legit going down his throat saying oh, you're a piece of shit, you're doing all this, basically doing nothing but attacking Pro Jared and the alleged person that he was cheating on with, to the point where they legit had to go radio silent because nothing they said was was going to be heard. It was just going to be drowned out by nothing but attacks on that. Yeah. There was multiple news news sites, multiple people that were reporting this as news, that they were saying that this person got cheated, that Pro Jared's wife was getting cheated on by this other person. Dude legit went radio silent for 8 months. Until he made one final video basically capping off the entire thing. And he was like, look, I legit had to do a lot of stuff mentally to keep myself sane on all this. But look, for all those people that are saying I did it, I didn't. You know how I know? I kept the receipt. I got everything. I got whatever she was accusing me of. I got everybody involved. None of it happened. And yet I had all these people that never reached out to me, that were saying all this shit, that I was a piece of shit, that I was a good for nothing loser, a fucking cheater, all this stuff, all this nonsense for 8 months. And none of it was true. And it came out, nothing happened. I don't remember why she did what she did, but he came out and said, look, I got proof if you want it. there's nothing I can really do here. Nobody came for a retraction. Nobody came to me looking for a truth. Nobody came to me for support. And nothing.
And that's another good point. So when we as men, when we get accused of doing heinous things, it's a public perception that'll kill you. And not only will it kill you like mentally, fuck with you, fuck with your spirit, fuck with your emotions and stuff. But
and in his case, financial too.
I was about to say, but a lot of times financially, nobody wants to work with an accused rapist. Nobody wants to work with an accused physical abuser. Nobody wants to work with, an individual that gets all of these things. So of course, it decimates us. And then come to find out with this man, and another example I'm about to give in a second, it wasn't true, and it couldn't have possibly been true. I'll give you guys another one. A lot of people know who Mewtwo King is. He was a popular gamer specifically for Super Smash Brothers, and he was accused of raping a girl. A good amount of time, I believe it was about 2 or 3 months, had gone on where it was just people spreading the rumors he had done this. And here's the fucked up part. Here's the proof that this man had, and it's sad that it had to come to this. It's sad that this is how this man had to prove that he didn't do it. So he did a video where he said, this is the reason why I possibly could have done it. Apparently, at birth, his genitalia was mutilated, unfortunately, because of certain things that they do to you when you're a baby. And not only can this man not have sex, he can't
even masturbate.
He can't masturbate. He can't do anything. Apparently, it's extremely painful for him. So he doesn't have any sense of being able to do anything. And think about that. This man had to talk about his physical handicap in order to prove to people that he didn't do this thing that he was accused of. Again, did this man put up receipts? This man showed proof. He could have done it. But again, for months and months and months, this man was being torn down. This man was being talked about like, oh, you're this weird, skeevy dude, and blah, blah. And here's, don't get me wrong, by general standards, yeah, he's a little bit of a weirdo. Don't get me wrong. He is a social outcast, so to speak. So a lot of people said, oh, the creepy behavior plus his accusation must be true. And then again, come to find out, the man couldn't physically do it even if he wanted to. And it's sad again that this man had to put out his personal business about something so sensitive, about the fact that his genitalia is mutilated for people to be like, oh, okay, maybe you didn't do it. Forget the fact that, again, this man was destroyed online by God knows how many people. But again, were it not for documentation, this man would be a social pariah. This man would be probably locked up, so on and so forth. So look, again, fellas, as much as you can, protect yourselves. Please protect yourselves. This leads me a little bit into the final case that we're going to talk about. And here's the thing. There's a number of things, mostly racism that's tied into this one. But another example of when an accusation is made, people just run with it. It's, you get automatically executed by public perception instead of the truth. And I hate to bring it up in this context, but everybody knows the case. It's a very popular one. And unfortunately, up until very recently, well, I guess, within the last, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years, maybe a little bit longer actually, it was proven that it wasn't true. We all know the story of Emmett Till. This young black kid, man, that was just chilling outside of a store, and this woman said, oh, that little black boy fucking whistled at me. And then, a while longer, these all white men came and took him out of his home and did horrible, disgusting fucking things to the little boy. And, yeah, think about that concept, man. This little boy, don't get me wrong, it was largely racism. Largely fucking racism. But because a random woman made an accusation of this individual, it was taken as truth, and a man lost his life because of it. It's sad that these things have to happen, but these aren't the only cases. The cases we're talking about, they're not the only cases where men are accused of things only to find out that they didn't do it. I mean, we've seen plenty of stories where men were accused of rape, men were accused of killing a woman, men were accused of all these things, and then years and years and later, decades later sometimes, it's found out that it's not true. Their innocence is proven with DNA, with additional witnesses that come, so on and so forth. And it's sad that we have to find ways to, as men, to protect ourselves from this. I know a lot of times women say, I wish that I could walk out and on the street in the middle of the night and not have to worry about getting attacked. And I wish that for you ladies too. And I wish as a man that when I was walking behind somebody, they don't automatically assume I'm going to do something. But you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of people look at us and they say, oh, this motherfucker's going to do something to me. Even though I have no interest. I'm not that type of individual. So I think a lot of times I get it. Look, women should be protected. Women should be not have to feel like they're victims. You shouldn't, ladies. You really shouldn't. I empathize with you. At the same time, we as men shouldn't have to have a mountain of fucking evidence. We shouldn't have to have a fucking full-on fucking ridiculous investigation, full-on ridiculous, like all these fucking hurdles that we have to jump over as men to prove that we didn't do something heinous when we really didn't do it. And here's the thing. In no way, shape, or form, again, am I condoning any of the individuals that have done stuff. Some of these motherfuckers are sick and they deserve to fucking rot in jail or fucking die. If you did some shit, you deserve that shit. But a lot of times, we as men, we didn't do it. Like, I'll be honest with you, me personally, and I know, I say this shit all the time. I keep receipts. Anytime that I'm in a fight, an argument with a woman, I will record that shit. Not because I'm fucking trying to fucking do some shady shit, but should the accusation ever come out that this man hit me, this man did whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nah. I stay out of that realm. If anything, I'm always the calm one. I'm always the one like, look, we're not going to go down this path. I'm not going to do this with you. Like, and don't get me wrong. Some women, get even more angry by that because like, oh, if you don't care. No, it's not that I don't care. I'm just not going to be put in a situation where I can be accused of something that I didn't do. And here's the thing. A lot of people say, oh, that's just being paranoid. Nah, that's being a man. We as men, unfortunately, have the undue burden of showing that we didn't do whatever it is we're being accused of.
That we have to watch our every step.
Do we have to watch our every step? As a man, again, we have the unfortunate burden of being forced to watch our backs 24/7 of having to prove to the world that we're not these monsters that people think we are. And it's ridiculous. But again, men, we take the precautionary measures, man. Don't put yourself in a situation where you can be accused of something. I literally just watched a story of apparently there's this transgender individual, male to female, in Miami, who apparently just started releasing a bunch of pictures of all the men that have had sex with her, and not like they were in bed or anything like that, but like they just happened to take a picture with this individual. And so a lot of these dudes are coming out and they're taking fucking lie detector tests to show that, nah, I didn't do that shit. Like, it's wild because again, like, look, that there's another topic wrapped up in that particular story. But again, think about that concept. Men are not having to go take lie detector tests, not because they're being persecuted by the prison system by any means, but because this individual's making these claims and now they have to go out of their way to prove it because people on the internet are tearing them the fuck apart. Like, oh, you did this thing, you did this thing, you did this thing. So yeah, man, it's ridiculous that we got to go out of our fucking way to prove all of this ridiculous shit. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately, man, that's where we're at. I always told my brother, I'm talking to him, that there's always this overcorrection with a lot of social movements in life that when a particular group of people has been so oppressed for so long, it gets to a point where they're trying to correct the action, which is good. But then it goes sometimes too far where they're trying to overcorrect the problem, and it goes to a point where it's not just they corrected the problem, but now the thing that they were doing, or the thing that was being done to them, they're not doing to other people. I'll give you guys an example. The feminist movement, I don't have any problem with it. I think that women should stand up for the rights. They should be able to pursue equal pay, so on and so forth. But then a lot of the movement has now turned to man bashing. It's not about women's rights anymore. It's about man bashing. I know some people are going to disagree with me, but I know a lot of you guys see it. In fact, a lot of my own female friends say that it's fucking stupid and it gets ridiculous. So I know for a fact, because again, your own gender, your own side is saying that you guys have overstepped, that you guys have gone too far. So look, listen, again, fellas, as sad as it is, we got to protect ourselves. We got to make sure that we take care of ourselves. We got to make sure that, especially when you're dating somebody, you got to make sure that, you're not put in any type of situation where you as the man in the situation can be accused of doing horrible things when you're not. Fellas, please protect yourselves no matter what the situation. Anything you want to add to that?
Nah, I think I'm done.
We'll appreciate the topic. Appreciate you guys listening in. Like, comment, subscribe, hate. Fucking DM me like y'all always do after these topics, so we can have good conversations. I might start putting some of those up, so I always think it's good conversations. I'm gonna ask those people first before I decide to do that. But again, thank you for tuning in, everybody. And with that being said,
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.